American guilt and the constant surveillance is Persepolis by Marjan Satrapi. So it can be defined as a feeling of remorse that someone feels when they leave their country of origin, and over the course of their stay there, they inadvertently adopt certain aspects of the new country's culture. However, from Margie's point of view, the other point of view, she sees this as a type of cultural treason, which is exemplified by this panel, where you have a black background which makes you center on Margie's figure, as well as her kind of stoic expression and her soldier-like and her soldier-like stance, which makes her feel like a patriotism. And also the caption saying, "I wanted to fight," which shows how youngest Margie feels her leaving the nest as a type of life she could have had behind, and kind of feels like she's losing her culture. Stop dancing. Stop dancing. Oh my goodness. So this is monumental transition in the book, where we go from her being Iran to a blank page and to Austria. This is the only page in the book, which just goes to show how dramatic this city transition was, since it's just a big time window and a big difference in between the content, as well as showing how significant this transition was, because it was a very pivotal moment in her life, and how there wasn't anything else that was important enough to add to her memoir between these time frames. So just her life at the airport, her parents passed, and then her life in Austria, going to the boarding school. There is a separation of her culture, because in Austria she has no parents, no support system, no family. So just build her new life from the ground up, because the people that she was taking care of her, Sharon's parents, weren't able to build her out to the full extent. So she's free to pursue any of her interests, unlike in Anna, where she was really restricted on what she was able to do, and she was forced to wear a head covering, which kind of makes her be more rebellious towards her parents and towards the ideas that they had for her, because she did go behind their backs in a type of way. However, she was aware of this and felt that it's kind of betraying her culture and her parents, because she wasn't able to be true to herself. She was adopting certain aspects like the appearance or friendships, which didn't really feel like they were natural to her. And it's just shown through this panel over here, where she's tiptoeing through the page. With her parents in black and white in the background, it goes to show or convey how they're always in the back of her mind. And her tiptoeing, as well as her appearance, just goes to show how she was aware of this, however she kept doing it, as kind of act of rebellion against everything she could not have had as a child. So she did betray expectations, which was seen here in this panel, which is around the beginning chapter, not beginning, mid chapters, which is her parents called her cousin, who was smoking, a vegetable as an insult, as well as something fragile. Were two things you would not want to hear as a child, especially when she is seen here as a vegetable. She isn't really happy with that. She's content. So you are aware that Margie wants to avoid having that same comparison with her parents. However, she feels like she's failed her parents because they did sacrifice a lot for her to have a life in Austria, and her not being able to meet those expectations, even though they are partially made by herself, makes her feel like unfulfilled. As well as showing how she held her parents in high regard, because they never told her directly that she wasn't able to smoke cigarettes, but it's just a self-will she put on herself, which was influenced by her parents. However, over the course of time, she does fall into these taboos, which is seen here through this scene. It's kind of a conceptual selectity, because these smoking just goes to show how she kind of rejects everything she thought her parents wanted her to do, because she did drop out of school, she was making the most of her experiences and all the resources she had in Austria, and she was kind of falling into a lot of bad habits, just drugs, smoking, and drinking, which is significant. She did not have really good coping skills, which did have a lot of negative effects on her life and her health. One of these coping mechanisms was avoidance, where she would be seen actually literally changing the channel from a news story on the war in Iran to figure skating, it did have a short-term cathartic feeling for her. However, it wasn't able to really fill the void of how she felt and how guilty she felt for not being able to provide for her family or make a new life for herself. Also, she did end up denying her culture, which is seen through these two bottom panels, where somebody asked her where she's from, like, are you Iranian? And she's like, no, I'm French. She's denying it because being Iranian at that time had a lot of negative stereotypes going on with it, and she had faced a lot of them. And being a teenage girl going through puberty is not the best thing, or it's a very bad thing to have all these negative things. So one aspect she could change about herself was her nationality, which she presented herself. So she did adopt a more Western appeal to be more digestible to others, but she also kind of changed her nationality because she did see that she got a better reaction from others when she did that. It was a very heavy burden for her to carry, so she did end up changing those things. Also, ignorance is bliss is a quote that I feel like characterizes Margie's character quite well. Even though she isn't ignorant per se, she does choose to kind of put things to the side, and I would say it correctly, just seen through this panel, where she is dreaming. However, all of her memories from Iran are intertwined together. You have pictures of the bombing that happened in her neighborhood, as well as her grandma being happy, and just a lot of different things together. So, in her being able to forget one aspect, or try to forget one aspect, it will be cutting the link to so many other happy memories from her childhood, which is making it very difficult for her to move on. And it kind of seen through her face because she isn't able to be happy in this time, because everything is just so jumbled together that she isn't able to feel anything. There are two characters in this novel who I feel like are two sides of the same coin, which are Margie and Shirin. They are both ethnically Iranian, and they are close family friends. However, Margie saw the war through a first-person point of view and has a very activist and patriotic personality. However, Shirin has only been able to see the carnage through TV as an outsider, so she doesn't really have the same experiences. As well as her living in Austria for a while, being more acclimatized to the culture. However, Margie just got there in her formative years, so she ends up kind of rebelling against her parents and doing a lot of things she should not have been doing. This kind of leads to Margie's resentment towards Shirin because she's endings of her life. It's less she could have had if her parents did choose to move to Austria at an earlier age. As well as her being able to not have the same traumas as her, she's able to move on from these horrible stories that are happening in Iran so casually. Like her bringing up in the car, which kind of makes Margie kind of happy and interested in her. However, she just moves on to another one, which is completely off topic. However, Margie is still stuck on that, which is seen by her surprised expression over here, as well as her turning away because she's kind of angry at how could this girl move on with this horrible topic so quickly. And she thinks of it as a trivial thing, which just shows how she's putting her insecurity onto others, because not everybody is able to feel something that she feels, which shows the importance of having different perspectives and self-esteem issues that she is facing. Finally, she is able to reclaim her identity, because at the end of the book, a lot of the beliefs were written by her for being Iranian, and she was defining them, or allowing them to define what being Iranian was. However, she was able to take a step back and realize that being Iranian is something she should be proud of, and that it is sustainable for her to adopt another culture. So, reclaiming her identity by screaming out, "I am Iranian" this prom, is kind of releasing her pent-up emotions, because she's able to vocalize her feelings towards it and show how she feels proud for her country and that she should not feel guilty for living a new life. Because even though she didn't move to Austria, she did accomplish a lot by being able to adjust to the culture and make new friends and connections. Thank you.